Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select two or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the PrizePicks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Good morning, Mavs fans. Welcome to Mavs Moneyball Minute. My name is Kirk Henderson, and I'm editor-in-chief of MavsMoneyball.com. You are joining me on Thursday, June 23rd. Thank you for taking part of your day and spending it with me. Let's hop right to things. But before you do, I want to point you to the podcast that I did on Tuesday with our Slovenian friend Matej. We had a great time talking about the Slovenian national team and international basketball in general. It's kind of one of those podcasts that I wanted to do because I wanted to know when things were happening, but he ended up hyping me about international basketball, so I'm really looking forward to it. To start things off, there was a trade on Wednesday evening, and that trade involved the Portland Trailblazers acquiring forward Jeremi Grant from the Detroit Pistons for a future first-round pick by way of the Bucks. It's a little bit of a confusing trade, but essentially why that trade matters for the Mavericks is the Detroit Pistons now have about $50+ million in open cap space, and they have been long rumored to be interested in Dallas Mavericks guard Jalen Brunson. Things are getting a little bit spicy on the Brunson front, and it's worth mentioning that friend Jake Fisher said on his show, please don't aggregate this, which is an amazing name for a call-in show, where he said that, according to what he's been told, that Brunson is telling his Mavs teammates that this is a done deal. No indication as to price or anything like that, but Jake seems to feel that the Mavericks are very much, this is a done deal with him and he's going to be returning to the team, which puts into play like some of the interesting things that are floating out about in the ether. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski went on TV and basically said the Mavericks are going to need to give Brunson a near max to keep him. A 5-year max for Jalen Brunson is worth a lot of money, close to like $175 million. There's no one else in the market that can give him that because the Mavericks can give him an extra year. A couple of other teams can give, like, I want to say the Knicks could, if they were able to clear cap space, they might be able to give him for like 4 for 107 is what CBA Mavs told me. So it's just, I feel like I'm missing something with the math with all the different things that are floating around. I've also been told that like the deal could be closer to the Mavericks end for like 4 years for $88 million. I mean, the point being is I'm hearing all sorts of things, but I don't know how to really reconcile it. Marc Stein of this Marc Stein Substack, he went and noted that that if the Knicks are able to clear cap space, they would be a quote legitimate threat to prevail in the Brunson sweepstakes, end quote. There's just like a lot of information floating about out there, and when you get to this point in the offseason, it can be a little frustrating, where it becomes an instance of what information do you believe? And the answer, in all honesty, is, you don't. I kind of choose to just not worry about it. Like, I'm going to like talk about it, but I'm not going to let it, rev me up, because there's still another, 8-ish days until free agency starts. And, we'll know really quickly. So, if you can wait another week or so, this stuff will sort of clear itself out. Again, I'm going to put links to all these things in the show notes if you're curious as to what I'm talking about. Dalton Trigg did the kind of aggregation of the report from Adrian Wojnarowski, because it was something I'm pretty sure that he said on TV, not something that he wrote about, because I don't know. The stuff with Woj is getting stranger, because as Marc Stein pointed out in his Substack, like, Woj will sit on information as it benefits people around him. It's I don't know. It's a little uncomfortable sometimes. All right, there's a couple more things to talk about, and then we can get on with your day. Later on tonight, the Dallas Mavericks will potentially be involved with the NBA draft. There was news via The Athletic that the Mavericks were interested in getting back into the draft if it meant they could land guard Trevor Keels from Duke. That's an interesting one. I don't know a ton about Keels. Our guy Luke Askew actually had a profile that we just decided not to publish that breaks down his kind of analysis of Keels' game. And the Keels thing, it's odd to me, because he's not, it doesn't seem like he's a great shooter, but he's like still a very interesting prospect for later in the draft. And why, it says to me, like, if you were interested in going and getting a guard, then you must have more concerns about Brunson than you're leading on. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you go get a wing? While we're talking about the draft, Luke also wrote a piece on a player named Caleb Houstan from Michigan. That's worth reading about. I just liked his quick analysis. Luke is really into the draft, and I know he's hoping that the Mavericks figure out a way to get back into it. I recommend watching the draft, even if it's not entirely your deal, even if you don't think the Mavericks are going to do anything. It's still a lot of fun. It's fun to follow along on social media. I recommend just so we know, the draft is on ESPN, and it starts at 7 o'clock Central. All right, guys, that's all I had for the moment. Kind of a shorter show today, but I didn't want to let that go without at least mentioning some of the Brunson stuff, because I think it's starting to really kind of freak people out, the different possibilities. This has been Kirk Henderson of Mavs Moneyball, and you guys have a great Thursday. We'll talk soon.